Okay, so to set up your Weebly page, this is my basic productivity tools page. So remember, we are on pages. If you look at the different pages, when you go into your education.weebly.com account, you'll go down to basic productivity tools. And once you're there, you've got the page opened up. You should go ahead and go to the build section and then drop your title in. Your title block in. I've already done it. It's right here. So drop in the title block and put in basic productivity tools. And of course, this is where your 2-paragraph overview of basic productivity tools will go. Remember to add line spaces between paragraphs, and the way to do that is just to hit Shift plus Enter, and that'll give you a single line space. But you could always indent each paragraph if that works. I kind of prefer to keep the paragraphs unindented, just because in a blog post it looks a lot better to me, or in a portfolio post it looks a lot better. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to drop in a button. So I'm sure that you saw that in the announcement if you noticed. Let's see, you have to find the button first. So it should actually say button on it. Section spacer, go down. And I'm not seeing the button. Okay, so I was passing right by it. Here's the button. So you're going to drop this in. And initially we had two things that you were going to put in a button. So you would turn in a PowerPoint presentation itself, and then you would turn in the MP4. So because I'm changing the assignment up a little bit, it's okay to just turn in the MP4 now. And you can just change this button text right here to whatever you decide to make it. So if this is your PowerPoint, some people just put PowerPoint BPT. And if you make it into a movie, you can just say, you can put PowerPoint ebook if you want. Okay, that's kind of up to you. And that way we know when you put this in, I like to center it, you're going to put a link in more than likely to your PowerPoint ebook. Even if you make a video using the screencastomatic like I suggested, you'll put in a link there. The only difference will be if you decide to create a sway, you'll come down here and there's an embed button. If I can find that. Of course, my eyes are never good when I'm looking for this. But there's an embed code button that you'll put in. There it is. You'll drop this in, and when you get the embed code for your sway, that's where you'll put that. And it just says right here, it says click to set custom HTML. That's the embed code that you'll collect when you get the code from your sway, and just drop it right in there. And it shows up really nicely on your page when it's embedded. The other thing you need to put in, so you don't need to do this unless you decide to do a sway. The other thing that you need to put in is you'll need to put in a script document, because that script document is what you're going to put your lesson plan idea into. So that's where you'll put that. And there's your blank document, and you'll just load up your lesson plan idea when you're done with that. Remember, it's a lot easier to upload a PDF. You can do a Word document, but some people have had trouble with that in the past. So I'd turn it into a PDF if you're having trouble. And remember, if you decide to cite information that you put into your Weebly page, you need to make sure that you put the some information has been retrieved from, and put your citation here. That'll help to make sure that you cover yourselves, so that you know your instructor knows that you have not copied anything, that you've actually gone in and looked at these sources and kind of summarized what they said. So make sure to include that to kind of cover yourselves. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is, this is an example of an ebook that was put together by a student last semester. And this student created an ebook on her laptop. So she downloaded this to her laptop and had it as her desktop version of PowerPoint. Now understand that in Office 365, there is a version of PowerPoint that you can use to create a book based on a topic. But if you want to record on that page, it has to be the desktop version of the PowerPoint. So make sure that you understand that, because it will not record in some programs at all. So if you decide to use the Office 365 version, I'll show you that as well. But this is how she made it, and I'm not sure if her sound will come through, but hopefully you'll be able to hear a little bit of it.
Colors Everywhere by Raisa Shannon.
Okay. And as you turn the
What
page,
color do you see? Red.
you can see she's reading the book to them.
What color do you see? Blue.
And she's made it very creative.
What color do you see? Yellow. We love all the colors.
Okay, and that's what she put together on her desktop, and then she turned it into a movie. So she went to File, and this is not the desktop version, but she was able to save it as an MP4 and make it into a movie, and then put it on her portfolio page. So this would be teaching younger students, having them read a book online or read a book from wherever she posted it, and then they could create their own book as well. So I thought that was a great idea, the way she put that together. But if you're using the Office 365 version, this is kind of what I put together to show you how to do this. You can still make a book like this. It does not have to be this topic. Please choose a topic that is important to you. And I'll get into that so you can look at the standards as well. But here is a book that I just quickly put together so that you can see the similarities. But what I did instead of creating it on the desktop is I use screencastomatic, and you can use this free. It's this program right here, and it will record up to 15 minutes. You won't need 15 minutes. But when you create your book, what you want to do, and I show this in the module as well, but you want to make sure that you go to Present Live. And when you present live, you can add subtitles. So you can choose the language. I like to choose Spanish because I always had a lot of English language learners that speak Spanish. So we'll grab that, and you can choose where you put it as well. So you can put it at the bottom, at the top, wherever you want to put the subtitles. So when you present live, let's see if we can work it for me here. Colors everywhere. Now it's taking in my sound from in the screencast, so it won't do it. But when you do this, you'll be able to see down at the bottom, it'll be translating what you're saying. So it's making a video of its own as well. And at the end, all you have to do is publish this video, and it'll go, you can take it straight to YouTube, or you can get a screencast-o-matic video. Either way, that can be loaded up onto your portfolio page. But it's a really cool option to make sure that you've got wording on there or subtitles for students that need it. Now, since you've seen the PowerPoint version that's done on the ebook that's done on the desktop version of PowerPoint and the Office 365 version, I want to make sure that you see Sway, which is also in 365. So if you go to your Office 365, like I showed you earlier this semester, you just type in MyKSU, go down to log into email, and once you log into your email, it goes to Outlook, of course, which I'm actually in my son's account, so it's not going to show it. But you can go to this little waffle here, and it'll take you straight to Sway. And this is what Sway looks like. So they've got lots of different templates. You can see, you can click here to do more templates. And the way you create a Sway, all of this is in the module, is you're creating cards that demonstrate a topic. So when you click on, you can click a new blank Sway, or you can choose one of the templates. They've got lots of different options, including a vacation story. That's something students can put together, a portfolio page. You could even make it like a resume. There are lots of different ways that students can make these. I usually start with a new blank Sway, but what I want to do now is I want to show you one that was put together by a second grade student and turned into his teacher. So this student created a Sway on the II. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. I hadn't until I saw this. So all you're doing is when you create this plus sign, you're creating the presentation. You're creating slide cards, basically. So it puts everything into a card. And you can put pictures, you can put video, you can put text, and there are a lot of different options to personalize this. So it's really, really cool. So I will show you just an example of this. This does not have any sound behind it, but it is a great way to demonstrate learning. And I hope you can see that there is actually movement in this as well. And there's different ways to go through it. A lot of times you just click right through it. And You can see there's information on the page. It shows where the II is from, and it's just different little cards for the students to show their learning. And it's really set up very well. It can be presented horizontally or vertically. I'm going to go through it rather quickly so you can see it. And it says made with Microsoft Sway. And what you can do, which is interesting, is you can share this and collaborate with people. So you could design one with somebody else, or your students could. But this student actually sent it to their sent it to their teacher. You can specify people that go into to look at it, but if you're going to put it on your portfolio page, you're going to have to click anyone with a link can view. You can get a link, but my favorite thing is to go ahead and get that embed code. You can copy this and post it right to your portfolio, your Weebly portfolio. Okay. So let's just go to the third grade science standards, which are located here. And you can see these are the science standards that third graders have to learn. So if you go down, this is one of my favorites. So obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about the effects of pollution on air, land, and water, and humans on the environment. So it gives you more information below, but if you wanted to use this standard to design a lesson, this is a good one because students can create a presentation based on this standard, and this is what you would focus on when you're designing your lesson for them. So that's how you look up a standard. You can use any subject area you want. I just chose science because it was a quick one to find that standard. So just make sure that you are using this site, the Georgia Performance Standards site, to get your standard and then create your unit and your lesson idea based on that standard and focus directly on the elements of that standard. So just to sum up, you'll be learning all about the different productivity tools in this module. Focus on Office 365. Remember, that is the online version of Office, and you'll log into your account to look at each one of those tools. It does present the Google side, but they're so very similar that it's important that you really learn more about the Office 365 during this module. And it'll tell you exactly what to do. And you'll see they cover forms. There is a lesson on Excel or an activity in Excel that you can complete during this module, or you can wait till Module 7 when it's due. If you decide you want to learn a little bit more about Excel now, you can go ahead and jump on that. And I did put that in your checklist as an optional activity if you want to complete that this week. And I opened up the Dropbox if you want to go ahead and drop it into the Module 7 Dropbox to show that you've completed that activity. So here's your Sway information if you're interested in creating a Sway. It's a really cool program. I also suggest trying to do the PowerPoint presentation live so that you can learn how to put subtitles in your presentations for students. All of these things will help develop your learners and kind of reach those higher levels of Bloom's and Lodi levels as you integrate technology into the classroom. I hope you enjoy your learning this week.